Welcome, everybody, to another episode of The Productive Attorney. I'm your host, Jim Zeta, and today we're going to be talking about emails and how to manage your emails. How can you have a whole podcast on this? Well, I've done some research, and a lot of the tips that I have are contained in various places. I've kind of organized them, but a few tips that I have people haven't seen or I don't see online anywhere, and hopefully they'll help. As y'all know, I tell war stories, or I tell from experiences that are going on right now in my life that relate to my topic, and I'll start with that. I teach a class at Texas A&M Law School called Law Practice Management, and each semester when we have this class, I ask the students to look at their phones and to tell me on their text messages on the little red notification bubble what their number is. Basically, is it 0 to 10? Is it 10 to 100? And I get all the way up to 10,000 plus. What I find is that it's split all across the class. There are students who have none on their notification. Some have turned the notifications off. They have too many. Some have over 100. Some have over 10,000. What I find with those students is that their text message notification bubble usually corresponds to how they handle their email inbox, and whether or not they have, in some cases, 0 unread emails, 10 unread emails, up to some just have 1,000 unread emails. They just glance at the unread email and just let it go down the inbox so that it eventually goes away, and they just open the ones that they want to look at. That's kind of the way people organize their emails generally. That's kind of their personality. And so my first tip on this, and I know myself, is know yourself and know how you organize your emails. Me personally, I'm a 0 inbox guy. I don't want any emails in my inbox. Right now, as I'm doing this podcast, I have 0 emails in my inbox. Now, when I'm done, I'll probably have 2 or 3, but right now I have none. They're all in the places that they should be. I have 0 unread emails, and so that's the way I work. That doesn't mean that I'm always that way, but that's my goal. I know another attorney who does it, and he says when he leaves the office, he wants to have less than a page of emails. So if he looks at his emails, he wants to make sure that he can see the bottom and there's none there. 0 inbox is a goal of me. It may not be a goal of you, but either way, hopefully some of these tips that I give you will help you organize your email better. As you all know, we get a lot of them, especially in law where there's official notifications through email. You have to stay on top of it. So the first tip I'll give is the one I haven't seen very much, but it works for me. For example, if I'm in a deposition, hearing, trial, any time I'm out of the office for a lengthy period of time, I come back, my emails have built up. Typically, even with the screening process that I'll tell you about that I use, I have between 50 to 100 emails if I'm gone for 5-6 hours. One way you can do that is go through them in the time that they came in, but I find it's more efficient when you have a large number like 50 to 60 to organize them by sender or to organize them by topic. That way, for example, if I'm handled a situation in a case and I look it up and I know that Bob Smith is on that case and I know that was the issue, if I have them organized by sender as opposed to by chronologically, when I see Bob Smith's name, I can just go ahead and put it in the right folder. And I can do that with 4, 5, 6 emails from Bob Smith all in a row, and I don't have to think each time the next email comes up in chronological, oh, that's Bob Smith, I need to put in the folder again. I find that when you organize them and sort them by sender or by topic, as opposed to chronologically when you're trying to get back to 0 inbox, it's a lot more efficient. And so that works for me. The next tip is, regardless of what you have, if you listen to the case management software podcast that I did, cases, transactions are typically sorted into a folder, and the folder is typically, or a file, or a matter, and those are typically by last name of the client or the full name of a corporate client. You should, in whatever email system you're setting up, should have your own folder system set up for each one of those cases. So you'll have all the cases that start with A. You'll have maybe 10, 12 folders under A and 10, 12 folders under B, and you'll have all these folders. And you should have about as many folders as you have cases. Maybe a couple fewer, and I'll explain why in a second, but you can have quite a few folders. So when an email comes in, you put it into the folder. Then when you want to go back and look at the case and want to see what's happened in that case, you just go click on the folder and look at it, and all your emails there. There is a tool that really helps with this in Microsoft Outlook. It's called Simplifile, Simplyfile. That's one word. It's through techhit.com, TECHHIT. They're not a sponsor. I don't sponsor them. I've never communicated with them. They're $2.99 a month at the simple version, and that's really all you need. What it does is on your Outlook, on the top of it, on the ribbon at the top, it goes ahead and you click a couple buttons to set it up, and it goes ahead and looks at your email and looks at your folders. And then when an email comes in, you just click on preview. On that tool, it gives you 3 potential folders where to put it. If that email goes into the Smith folder, Bob Smith's folder should be in the ribbon under Simplifile. You just click Bob Smith where that folder is, and it immediately goes to the folder. You don't have to right click and go move to. And I'll tell you, I do that for all my staff, and they absolutely love it. They call me every once in a while and go, "Oh, we just had to reinstall Outlook, and that organization tool went away. What happened to it, and what's the name?" and get it. So I highly recommend Simplifile. It really has helped us. There's another product called SaneBox, SANEBOX, that's highly rated. It's $8.25 a month, so more expensive than Simplifile. But you should have your folders for your cases. But one thing that's helped me a lot is I don't have just folders for cases. I have a lot of general folders. So anything that has to do with the administration of the business, for example, information regarding to the banking that I do, or information regarding to bills, or anything that's administrative, I have an administrative folder, and they go there. Any potential new cases, before they come cases, I have a folder called Potential New Cases. And I put all my potential new cases there, and then if the case is rejected, which a lot of them are, I don't have to go back and put them in separate folders. I just have the potential new cases folders. It also helps me when I'm getting a new client, a potential new client, and I've been emailed the information. I put it in potential new cases, and then when the potential new client calls and I'm talking to them the first time, I just go back into that folder and search their name and find them, and go ahead and can click on it, and I'm up to speed as to what's going on with that case. I also have a folder called New Cases Without Folders, or Cases Without Folders, and that is where I just have maybe general cases. We have a lot of, I would call, simple personal injury cases that don't need a separate folder, and I'll put information into that. And then I have a personal folder, so anything that relates to my family or anything that relates to things that are outside of work, I go ahead and put in the personal folder. And then I have a soccer folder because I play soccer, and emails that come in related to that I throw in there. And then I have a closed cases folder. So there's separate kind of folders that you can have. And that's where I like to put the emails. Another kind of another real tip that works for me, hopefully it'll work for you, there's a lot of sorting that goes on of the email before it ever gets into my inbox. And when it does get into my inbox, it's put in various places. I have various rules put in place to make sure that it works. So for example, we have a firewall that keeps out the really malicious stuff. So when stuff comes in, it's supposed to get out all the really bad stuff. And there's all kinds of rules and ways to keep it up. And that works. That's the first kind of filter that it comes through. Then I have a junk folder. And that junk email folder, that gets things where that gets through the filter, but Inbox recognizes that it might be junk email, and it throws it into that junk folder. So then, but that's even before it gets to me, I have a junk folder. Then Microsoft itself has a part where it's focused and other. And frankly, I don't know how Microsoft does it, but it works. So on the focused, it's usually about the cases that I have. And the other would be advertisers that maybe I'm interested in. So for example, I'm looking for a present for my wife, and she likes Lululemon, so we go ahead and I want those to look at those. They'll either be in their junk or they'll be in the other, and then I'll go ahead and click on that. So emails should barely make it into my focused folder unless they mean to. And then I am on 3 listservs. The Texas Trial Lawyers Association, the Tarrant County Trial Lawyers Association, and the Mississippi Trial Lawyers Association. And they generate lots of emails. TTLA especially generates lots of emails. So I have rules set up that I've set up. Anything that comes in with the TTLA name on it, it goes into a TTLA folder. And that's on the left-hand side of my folders, and it's in my favorites. So in my favorites, which is the very top left of my inbox, I've set up the rules so that I have the inbox, the deleted items, and then the 3 listservs that I'm in, drafts, and sent items. Those are all my favorites before you get down into all the folders that I have. So on any given day, I come in and I look and I'll see I have 100 junk emails, I have 25 emails in TTLA, 2 emails in Tarrant County Trial Lawyers, 10 emails in Mississippi Trial Lawyers, and then in my inbox, on the other I'll have 10, and in the focus I'll have 20. Well, I just go through backwards. I look at junk email and just glance at it. I mean, in my junk email box, I probably look at it less than 5 seconds. I glance at that, and then there's usually nothing there, and I delete everything. Mississippi Trial Lawyers, I'm not as active. I glance, look for topics of interest. If not, I delete everything. Texas Trial Lawyers is more current topics for me, but I just looked at the subjects, and if there's something that interests me, I go ahead and respond to it or maybe save it. I do have a folder called legal articles, so if it's something that's a cutting-edge legal issue, I throw it into there. But that's what I do with TTLA. So I delete all that stuff before I even get to my focused. Then I go to the other part of the inbox, and I go through those, and I'll get through those. And now I get to the meat, and now I'm in focused. So I've gotten rid of 90% of my emails before I even get started on doing the substantive stuff, with what you want. Then what I do is I go into the focused emails, and I have kind of a rule. If it's an email that I can do in 2 minutes or less, I do it. A lot of the websites say 1 minute or less. Come on now. I mean, 1 minute is like nothing, right? But if you can do something and do it in 2 minutes, you get it done. Or if you can delegate it, you delegate it and then go up to Simply File, click, and put it in the folder. If it's something that is going to take time, it is my recommendation you don't use your email as a to-do list. A lot of people do, and that's fine if you want to do that, but I will then transfer it somewhere into a to-do list that I have. If it's that important, it's going to take more than a couple minutes. Put it on a list, and then once you're done with your email, you go to your to-do list and you do everything on your to-do list. I believe that as with paper mail as well as emails, you touch it once. All you need to do is touch your email once. If you can do that and put it where it belongs in the folder or delete it or anywhere else, then that's the way to get to a 0 inbox. If you're having to go back and touch an email 4, 5, 6 times, to me, you're wasting your time. So another tip, and this one is out there and people typically know it, if I start getting a lot of emails that don't go directly into junk but somehow make it into my other folder, and it's something that's taking a little bit of my time, I will start to unsubscribe. And it'll usually happen once every 60 to 90 days where I'll just get kind of tired of it and I'll unsubscribe in mass. There is a product called Unroll, I think it's called, or Unenroll. What it does, it kind of organizes all the things that you are subscribed to, and people are surprised to find how much they are, and you just click on buttons and it unsubscribes you. I think there's some cost associated with it. I haven't researched it. Kind of a higher level on inbox management is we have a product which I've already talked about called Centerbase, and then within Centerbase we also have NetDocs. And what NetDocs allows you to do is it allows you to link your folder to NetDocuments, so your emails are automatically linked to your case management system. And so and for us, they automatically go into correspondence. So in NetDocuments, if you go in the Smith vs. Jones file and you look at correspondence, you'll not only see the paper correspondence that's been scanned and put in there, but you'll also see all the emails. The killer feature for me on that is NetDocs allows you to search by keywords. You can search the title of the particular document, or since NetDocs turns everything into OCR, which is searchable, you can go ahead and do a search of everything. And so if you want to find a particular term and see if it's been anything in your file, you can go ahead and click it in, and the emails will get searched as well as everything else. So I think, to me, that's a huge feature that not only takes your inbox and makes it something that hurts you, to now making your inbox something that you have all the knowledge in the case. It's now in the actual case file, and it's completely searchable, which is, to me, a huge feature of NetDocuments and a huge feature of what we do. And one other point on that is, if it's in my inbox and I link it to NetDocuments, now anybody in the firm, all my staff, all the other attorneys can research, and they'll see these emails that I've had, and they can do a search and they can see it. So it's not something that is just for me; it's for everybody. It's really a killer feature. I also always am on the lookout for spam emails. They have been getting more and more sophisticated. And if there is an email that I have any question about, and most of it is like an invoice has come into you and it looks real, not from a vendor you might have heard, but it looks there, or you've got money coming to you possibly, and here's a thing you got to click on. It's gotten really sophisticated. But if I have any question at all, I throw it into my admin folder. I just throw it in there, don't click on anything, and if there's a question, the person will get back to you. I will tell you that in 99% of the time, when I don't click on it and put it into admin, it turns out it was a spam email and they're just trying to get me to click. That being said, if you accidentally click on something and it asks you for your email password to get in your email, do not give it. That is the number one mistake people make, is they go ahead and allow their email password out, and when that happens, the bad guys get in and they play with your inbox and now send out more spam, and it becomes a huge deal. I want to talk a little bit about email notifications. Those are little notifications that come up on the corner of your screen when a new email comes in. I turn them off. I don't need to see when they come in. I check my inbox enough that I don't need to be notified when it comes in. It's way too distracting to be on a Zoom call or to be working on a document and all these little things blip up and you think, oh man, I got to take care of that. No, you don't have to take care of it right away. Just take out your emails. And that goes to my next tip, and that is, if you have a big project, like, for example, I've had a project where I'm doing a brief, and I'm really in the meat of the brief, and I really needed to just really 100% focus. I shut down my Microsoft inbox. I don't even want to be tempted to look at it. In fact, I shut down everything else except the brief that I'm working on and any applications that are open that help with the brief. So I learned that tip from a friend of mine. He'll shut it down for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours at a time. And last time I heard, he's still standing. So you can be without your inbox for a little while you're at work. I saw a tip that in one of the websites that I really liked. There are times that you can clean up your email when you're idle. For example, for me, when I wake up in the morning and I'm brushing my teeth, I have that timer on my electric toothbrush that's 2 minutes. I'll be looking at my email and getting through the email that happened at that night. And I can usually get through it in that 2 minutes to get rid of most all of it. The doctor's office is a good place to do it. A lot of times I'll do it when I'm waiting for someone to get ready, like I'm ready to go, but they're not. There'll be times when I'm at a super boring party, and I'll do it just to spend 5 minutes to clean through it. There are times when you're in line waiting to get something, and that's a good time to do it. Conversely, and this is really important, put away your phone, shut down all your notifications during your quality time. And that is time when you really are spending with your family, with your friends, doing the things that you want to do. And I mean, there's been studies, when I say put away your phone, I don't mean just put it on the table next to you or even put it on the table next to you upside down. There's been studies that people are put off by that when you do that. And I agree with that. And so I typically put away my phone. Now, there's a group of friends that I have that we go to breakfast a lot. We probably go once a week, twice a week. We have our phones because we know we're just friends just talking about stuff, and we're going to look at our emails and look at our stuff while we're talking. But when somebody, it's mostly idle chat, but when someone starts to bring up something that we know is important to them, we all tend to just naturally turn our phones over or put them in our pockets to pay attention to the person. If that person feels that strongly about something, you need to put it away and let your emails just go away for a while. One of the things that we do on the auto signature that we've just started is a picture and our logo in addition to our contact information. It's a nice little small business card. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback from that. And I will tell you, frankly, when I get something from an opposing counsel and it's got a picture there on there, I actually feel better about them just knowing that's a human on the other side. It kind of humanizes the case, so I don't look at them as the evil villain. And it seems to work pretty well. I also have a separate email for personal things that is outside of my work email. So I have a work email, and then I set up a free Gmail that I have that just stuff comes in that, for example, you go somewhere and they want you to give an email address to subscribe to them, and you're thinking, I really, probably don't want to hear from these people very much, but I want to see what it's about, so I'll go ahead and give them my email address. And what I do with that is I link that email, that personal email, to only my phone. I don't link that email to my inbox at work. If it's personal stuff, then I don't need to worry about it during the day. And very rarely do I get anything but advertising on there. So I have this second email, and it comes up on my phone. I'll look at it when I'm getting a zero inbox. Sometimes at work I'll have a zero inbox. I'll look at my phone. I'll have 2 or 3 emails from a place that required an email to subscribe to it or required an email to get the product. And so I just delete those and eventually make a rule that they get automatically deleted or unsubscribe and get away from that. But there's nothing wrong with having a second free email to go ahead and get rid of things that are kind of what I call junky. Every once in a while, deep clean. Go through your emails and you can go ahead and archive them. So if you want to save space on your emails, you go ahead into a folder that's maybe closed. That case is done. You right-click on it. You put it in archive. It saves a lot of space. It goes into archive. It is searchable in the future, but it's not right there in your inbox. And I do that to save space. The other tip is to disable social media notifications. A lot of people look at social media a lot. I am not one of those people. People will ask me, well, did you see that on Facebook? And my response is, I haven't been on Facebook in 2 days. And I get this look like, how can you not have been on Facebook for 2 days? And it's pretty easy for me. But I find that I'm not as social a creature as other people. And people who are more social creatures tend to want to be on to see what other people are doing. And they're on there a lot. And then they get notifications through their email that something's going on Facebook or on Instagram or on TikTok or any of these sites. which would require you then to go click on it and see what's going on, and that's a huge distraction. I highly recommend that you disable your social media notifications. For people who are you can kind of tell if you're addicted to social media and kind of tell if you're addicted to the emails that are associated with it. If you just keep going back and there's nothing new. I liken it to checking the refrigerator when you've checked it a few minutes ago and it's still the same food in there. You don't know why you're going back to the refrigerator, but you just go and look in it again. I liken that with social media. People go back and look in Facebook and other places like looking in the refrigerator. So those are my tips. Those are my tips for email management. I am a little obsessive about the zero inbox. I like it. It helps me sleep better at night, but that's, again, my personality. So go with your personality, take any of those tips, and I wish you the best of luck on your email management. It's been Jim Zeta, the Productive Attorney. Thanks very much. Bye.